Hey everyone, it's Deja from CrochetEverAfter.com. Today I'm going to be doing a yarn review on Siidegarte. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. It's a Swiss yarn. I love their logo. Their logo is so cute. But I got this yarn in one of my yarn subscription boxes, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to make with it, and I finally decided, because of the yardage, they give you tons of yardage in each hank. You get 273 yards per hank, so I have over 500 yards here. And I had a request for how to do broomstick lace crochet, which is a really cool stitch. So I'm going to use this to make a broomstick shawl. And the reason I chose this yarn is because it has a really nice sheen to it. It'll make a really nice evening type shawl. It's made from merino, 50% merino, 50% silk, so it's really soft. Merino wool is a nice soft wool. It's the sheen is from the silk, of course, and I can't wait to get started. I'm gonna first wind it up and see how easy it is to wind up. It looks it looks good because it's got a nice ply. And it's a worsted weight, so it looks like it should be pretty easy to wind up, but I'll go ahead and do that and let you know how it turns out. And then once I finish the project, I'll let you know what I think about the yarn. Okay, so I wound up my yarn, and you can see from the pictures on the screen that it had two different types of ties. It had one that it was a string that wasn't made from the yarn. I like those kind of ties better when you have hanks, because you can cut it knowing you're not cutting any parts of your yarn, or knowing where it begins because the actual beginning is in the yarn. The other hank, so one hank had strings, the other hank was tied with the actual yarn that it's made from. So the first one was with the string, so it was easy to cut. The second one, you just want to be careful when you cut anything where the string or what's tying the hank is made from the same yarn. Cut it near where the tie is if you can't just untie it. That way, if it is the ends of your yarn, because usually when you have a hank, they'll tie off a couple pieces to keep it in a loop so it's easier to unwind and put on your Swift or whatever, or if you're going to be using your hands to wind it. But one of the ends will be the two ends probably tied together. So when you cut that, then you're going to have your two ends. It was wound nicely, so it didn't tangle as I wound it up, so it was prepared very nicely. Sometimes when you get hanks, you'll have a tangled mess when you try to wind it up, but this was really easy to wind. It's beautiful tone-on-tone colors. It's very pretty dye lot, so I can't wait to see how it's going to crochet up. So I'm making a free broomstick lace shawl pattern. That'll be up very soon. I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done and do a frog test, but I don't think this is going to catch because it's got nice tight plies, so it shouldn't catch. Plus it's partly silk, so silk doesn't have the guard hairs like the wool, so we should be good. So I'm going to get going on that and I'll show you it in a second. Okay, so I'm working on a shawl and broomstick lace with my yarn, and I wanted to point something out real quick because I'm noticing something that's happening. And what I'm seeing is my fingernails are turning blue. So as I'm working, I'm noticing that I'm getting a blue tint to my fingernails, and I've never had that happen before, so I'm guessing that the dye may not be completely set, or it may be extra dye coming off. So it could be nothing, it could just be, some of the dye coming off, but I'm going to wet block this when I'm done because I want to see how much of the dye is going to come off of the yarn. Because if I wet block it and this thing turns really light blue, then you'll know before you buy it that your color may change. So I'm going to finish my project and then wet block it, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you the water after I block it so you can see how much dye comes off, and then also the finished product. So you can see right now it's a nice rich blue teal color with variations, so you can see there's different depths of color because it is hand dyed, but we'll check out what it looks like once we block it. Okay, I just took the shawl out. You can see that the color did not bleed that bad. It's got a little bit of blue in the water, but nothing too dramatic, and you can see the shawl is still a very rich color. So maybe for the first washing, you wash it by itself, and hopefully it won't bleed anymore. But all in all, it was not that bad, so definitely the color still looks nice and rich. So I'm very happy about that. Not sure why it was bleeding onto my fingers, maybe just because it is a nice deep blue, kind of like jeans. They tell you, don't wear anything light next to them for a few washings, so maybe the same kind of thing. So all in all, very good. Glad that it didn't bleed too much, and I'm going to get this blocked and I'll show you what it looks like all blocked up. Okay, so I finished blocking the shawl, and you can see that the colors on the yarn are still really good looking. So this yarn overall, the Siidegarte, it is a beautiful silk blend with a great sheen, so it gives kind of a shiny effect. So this would be a great shawl for maybe a wedding or whatever, a more dressier affair, because it has that shiny effect to it with the yarn. I'm very pleased with this yarn. It worked fantastic. It never gave me problems, and it was very easy to weave in and do all of that, and the color loss was not a big deal when we blocked it. So I highly recommend the Siidegarte if you need like a pretty silk sheeny type yarn. This is a great yarn to use. But everyone, thank you for watching.